from the mind. Me and Krishna how Krishna appeared and was transferred to the womb of Devaki by mind. So the question of Balaram being Lord Krishna's brother is moot. You hear, I never grew up and learned the meaning of moot, but in India it's common. It's a moot point. Is a moot point. But his Lord Balaram's nature, his bodily form, his bodily qualities, his activities, they're all just as transcendental as those of Lord Krishna. Another name of Lord Balaram is Haladar. He carries a plow. You know the incident where he called Jamuna Devi and she refused to come. So with his plow he dug a channel and Jamuna was obliged to come to him. So in Krishna's appearance as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Balaram comes as Nityananda Prabhu. And Srila Prabhupada says that when Lord Chaitanya, after he took sannyas, he went to Puri along with Lord Nityananda Prabhu. But after a while, Lord Chaitanya said to Nityananda Prabhu, if both of us remain here, then who will preach in Bengal? Bengal is Gauda Desh. We are Gaudiya Vaishnavas. We are at least ostensibly Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Gaudiya means Bengal and part of Orissa maybe. So Nityananda Prabhu left Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's association. He went to Bengal and he preached. And Srila Prabhupada said, he's preaching, when Lord Krishna himself or Lord Balaram preaches, you can imagine. It is just like we should be able to have some idea, because the Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas, they are as good as Krishna. Krishna says, Acharya mam vijnanayam. So we see the potency of Prabhupada's preaching. One gentleman, elderly gentleman, has caused the spread of Krishna consciousness all over the world. From Ukraine to Kansas, from Dnepropetrovsk to the Arctic. So the Prabhupada says that Nityananda Prabhu went to Bengal and he brought Krishna consciousness to every door. He says he cut a, Prabhupada says, canal. We don't know is canal, I don't know what the transcription is. He says he cut a canal. A channel or a canal is the same thing, the word is the same. Just as Lord Balaram cut a channel and brought Jamuna, so Srila Prabhupada says that Lord Nityananda Prabhu cut a channel, so Krishna consciousness came to every door, every door in every house in Bengal. And we can see still, although there is quite a bit of degradation, even at that time, there was not all the Bengalis accepted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission of chanting. The Brahmins, if you read in Chaitanya Bhagavat, one of the authorized biographies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that the caste Brahmins of Nadia, they caste Brahmin means not actually Brahmin. Brahmin means to know Brahman. If you know Brahman, in fact, then your behavior is very gentle and all the good qualities, Brahminical qualities. But a caste Brahmin or a smarta Brahmin, they follow some external rules and regulations, and they may dress very properly, but within themselves they are not devoted, they're not gentle. And they criticize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, why are you making this noise, disturbing the people? If you don't stop, we'll call the Muslim authority and they'll break your houses and throw you everything in the Ganges. This is the Brahmins. They told Srinivas, who was hosting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his house for kirtan. Anyway, but many Bengalis did, to some extent at least, accept Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sankirtan due to his preaching and the preaching of Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Balaram. But this is really the relevant stories about Nityananda Prabhu and Lord Balaram, because the things we read in Srimad Bhagavatam about Lord Balaram, or Krishna book, they appeal to some of us, I think to children more, isn't it? Young people. But the old people who think that they're mature in life, what is these stories? Throwing donkeys up in the palm trees and things like. What are these stories? This is for children. We are, we have important things to do. We indulge. We allow this Krishna consciousness to go on in our house, but like that. So they are stories, but they're true stories. And if you are not too materialistic, you will accept them for what they are, and they're very attractive. And you see the pictures in Krishna book of Krishna and Balaram. They were attacked by this, what is his name? Denikasura, the demon in the form of ass, a donkey. So Krishna and Balaram grabbed them by the hind legs, and you have to be pretty strong to take a horse by the leg and whirl him around. So a donkey is almost the same size, and throw him up in the palm trees. As Srila Prabhupada says, it was a panoramic scene. All the palm trees were bent over. So that is a little Some of you are smiling, that's very nice. That means you are young at heart. Some of you maybe don't understand English and you're not smiling. That's not very good. So Lord Balaram and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they spread Krishna consciousness. They didn't display such actions, these like dealing with the asuras. Only few times, one I can recall, when Jagai and Madai attacked the Sankirtan, the devotees chanting, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu threatened them with his Sudarshan chakra. He was going to kill them. And Nityananda Prabhu asked him, please, spare them. But the two of them are responsible for spreading Krishna consciousness. Although it's only 500 years ago, India was covered by all kinds of false doctrines. Smarta Brahmanism and Advaita and Buddhism. There's the whole history. We should try to understand the world, the Krishna conscious situation historically also is very useful. It's not, some people have the idea, myself included, that previous yugas people were all more or less Krishna conscious. It's not true. They may have been very pure in their behavior and clean and truthful, so many Brahminical qualities, but they were proud. Even in Satya Yuga, people were proud of their Brahmanism. That's not spiritual, is it? To be proud. And they were practicing different dharmas. In Satya Yuga, dhyan, and then in Treta Yuga, in Treta Yuga, Yagya. They were doing yagyas very perfectly and elaborately. And then in Dwapara Yuga, Archana is the dharma. So they were worshipping the deity very gorgeously, as Prabhupada says. But it doesn't mean that everybody was, on the platform of liberated Krishna consciousness, because they were in the material world. If you're liberated, you're not part of the material world, although you may be externally appearing to be in the material world. All the acharyas are liberated souls. In Kali Yuga, the Dharma is Sankirtan. You cannot do dhyan, you cannot do yagya, you cannot do archana even properly. You should have lots of ghee and gold vessels. Now, if you buy a copper vessel, you're not even sure it's real copper. There's some mixture or some base alloy. And besides, nobody knows the mantras. As I've said, I remember reading years ago there was Varuna Yagya in Tirupati to bring rain, but the adjudicator of the Yagya, he stopped it, a little bit qualified, because they couldn't pronounce the mantras properly. So the Yuga Dharma is Sankirtan, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inaugurated the Sankirtan movement, and along with Lord Balaram, in the form of Nityananda Prabhu, they spread it all over Bengal. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveled by himself all over India. I have said how I had personal experience visiting one temple in Madurai, and some people were chanting Hare Krishna, but at that time Prabhupada's ISKCON had not reached that part of the country. There were no Hare Krishna devotees or temple in Madurai. So I asked how, it was a little obvious that these people were chanting as the result of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's visit to Madurai over 500 years ago. And upstairs, for last Ratha Yatra, I had that display. When you come upstairs, I don't know why we're here, why we're not upstairs. The deities are not here, and that sign is there. It gives the history of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's travels and all the places he visited. So many of them in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana and Orissa and Tamil Nadu, as some of you are aware. And they're very good places. Who is from Rajamundry? Somebody is from Rajamundry. You're from Rajamundry. Yes. Your ancestor. Rajamundry is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu camped, and he had discussions with Ramananda Rai, yes. Isn't it? So it's a very nice place, spiritually. All these places Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's visits, to this day, their influence. What about Hyderabad?
Prabhupada.
Huh?
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada came to Hyderabad, yes. I remember meeting somebody, when Prabhupada came, there was a